Hi, welcome back to Flipping Pages Stirring Sauces. And if it is your first time here, welcome. For those of you who have liked, shared, subscribed, and commented, my gratitude. Please do not forget to do so. It is a beautiful fall evening here in Ontario, Canada. And I just wanted to show you the leaves. They're turning yellow, and some of them will turn red in preparation for their winter rest. If you look at the ground back there, it's covered in yellow leaves. Anyway, I'm just going to take a seat and have a conversation with you about Mr. Nana Akufo Addo and his speech about democracy, as well as the word democracy itself. It is being thrown around a lot these days. And what does it really mean? Where does it come from? And what is the root word for democracy? Well, it comes from the Greek word demokratika, which means to cut, divide, a division of the people. Now, I've said it before. The English language is a language that condemns us daily. And if possible, we should stop using it. Unfortunately for me, it is my primary language. And as such, it is the language that I'm most comfortable using. I plan to change that though. Now, democracy equals a division of the people. The root word is the Greek word demos, which means people, and kratos, which means power. Together, they mean power of the people. So to break it down even further, da equals cut, divide. Demos equals division of people. Kratin means to rule. Demos equals the people. So, a Democrat, a person who is a Democrat, is supposed to be a person who believes in and practices the principles of equality, of rights, opportunity, and treatment, which means there shouldn't be different classes of people. Everyone should be treated the same way. I'm under a flight path and there's an aircraft going by, so please forgive me for that. In a society where the majority rules, the people are the wielders of the power. So, Mr. Akufo Addo, how many of the people in your country did you consult before you decided to borrow a total of $11 billion? In any currency, that is a lot of money. Did you consult the people to find out what they wanted you to do with that $11 billion, I am sure some of those people would have liked you to invest some of it in farming, agriculture, building industry, and infrastructure. Did you ask the people if they wanted you to invest it in building hospitals, schools, and other educational institutions? Did you invest any of it in teachers, doctors? Did you implement any educational systems? Did you implement learning institutions which would teach the people about their true history and the diabolical history and behaviors of their oppressors? Now, I would like you to answer this question for me. When your oppressors forces you to put 85% of your GDP into their banks and into their economy, and then charges you interest to borrow your own money, is that democracy? When you pay 10% interest on loans from institutions such as the World Bank or the IMF, while your Caucasian neighbors, and when I say your Caucasian neighbors, everybody on this earth is your neighbor. So I'm talking about the Caucasian, the countries with a Caucasian government and a Caucasian population. When they pay 1 and 2% interest on loans, actual loans, because they're not forced to put any of their GDP in anybody else's economy or in anybody else's bank, like a lot of nations in Africa are forced to do. So these are actual loans, and they pay 1 or 2% interest on those loans. Is that democracy? Is that equality of rights? Or is it discrimination, racism, bigotry, and oppression of melanated nations? Your ignorance towards your oppressors is very blinding. Now, some very brave and courageous young men have decided that they've had enough of the oppression. And those young men are now the leaders of Niger, Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso. I admire them and I applaud them, and I'm in agreement with them, because they have done something that you neither have the fortitude or the testicles to do. They've taken up a cause that they believe in, and they are at the forefront of a revolution. So it is in your best interest to leave these young men alone and let them, along with the young women of those countries, lead the revolution for self-fulfillment and freedom for the nation of Africa, or for the continent of Africa. So I would suggest that you take your democracy speech and put it somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. I also suggest that you take the beam out of your own eyes before you try to take the little bit of dirt out of the eyes of these revolutionaries. And it is a shame that Patrice Lumumba is no longer here. You see, he was cut down by these oppressors that you love so much far too soon. If he was here, I would tell you to go have a conversation with him about what they did to him. Or maybe you should go have a conversation with the other nations who in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s tried to break free from France. And what did France do? It flattened those nations. It demolished their buildings, left them in financial ruins. What else did they do? They poured cement into their drainage systems and into their waterways. But that's not the least of it. When they first tried to colonize these people, and these people resisted, a Holocaust took place. Some nations were almost completely murdered into extinction at the hands of the oppressors. And had you invested in some educational institutions, then your people would have been able to learn about their true history and learn about who they truly are, instead of the lies that have been taught to them in the institutions that were constructed and dictated to by these diabolical colonizers. A Holocaust took place in Africa. And when I speak to my African brothers and sisters, a lot of them are hearing about this for the first time. Why is that? You have a responsibility and an obligation to educate your people. You call yourself a leader, then lead. But I don't think you have the stomach for that. Because you see, a leader stands in front of his people and defend the rights of his people and defends his people to the last man. I don't think that you're a leader. As a matter of fact, I know you're not a leader. You see, I don't have anything against the ordinary French person, but their leaders and the ones who refer to themselves as the upper class, they're very arrogant, condescending, and in their eyes and in their minds, they own you, and they own your entire population. That's how they look at you. They will never look at you as an equal. They will never treat you as an equal. And they will always look to take from you. And they will suck you dry. Do you know what a parasite does? A parasite latches on to a host and doesn't let go until that host is dead. And that is the mentality of France. And that is what France will do to you if you allow. That is what Babylon will do to you if you allow. Babylon has been very quiet lately. When Babylon is quiet, Babylon is up to something. Joseph Burrell, I haven't heard from him. Is he afraid to speak because he doesn't want the creator of the jungle to take the breath out of him? Or has the creator already taken the breath out of him? Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I give you my peace. I give you my ahab, a wall of protection around the revolutionaries. Until next time, Shalom.